I am alive. Thank goodness. I am so sorry for being late. I need to work on my time management skills. Let's see if I can get this hair out the way. Hey, Marijuana, how are you? Hope everything's good. How has your week been? Please let me know. I can't believe it. Good and busy. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's good to have a busy week. You aren't bored then. That is ideal. Sometimes I feel like when I have downtime, I am bored to death. So keeping busy is always great and fantastic. Let me type this in the toolbar so people. Hey, Amber, how are you? How's everything going? I hope everything's doing well for you. Everything's good over here. Sorry for running behind, everyone. I did not mean to be late. You know, I used to be more on time for stuff, but these days, not so much. But doesn't matter. I'm going to get that's going to be one of my 2020 goals. Be on time, Brandy. Be on time. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. That's nice. Nice to hear. Let me type this and pin that. There we go. I have my cards. Let me shuffle them a bit. I hope everyone's doing good today. I'm so happy that the nodes have shifted, and at least in Western astrology, not in Vedic astrology. That's not going to happen. I think till May or June. I have to look at the exact date. But yes, I know personally when the nodes shift for me, I always get tired on those days. But you guys let me know how things have been today. I'm just going to keep shuffling a little bit. Just trying to make sure I spelled everything right. Since I'm dyslexic, so sometimes I'll be missing letters or I'm just making stuff up. And I'm like, what did I just spell? Anyway. I have had such a busy week, as per usual. School is back in session. Hey, Sand, how are you? Tell me how your week has been. Mine has been pretty busy as per usual. I was just saying how school has restarted back for me. So I am back on the grind. School, oh yes, the next semester. Yeah, definitely. That's what it is. The next semester. I'll be there for a little bit longer. Unfortunately. Ooh. Cards are flying. All right. I need to learn to catch them. Trying to keep a tight rein. All right. Just going to shuffle away. He said, I don't know. I thought your school year ended. Well, I mean, it did for that year, but now it's a new year. So it's spring semester. I think it starts in the fall. I don't know. It's grad school. So I guess you can start whenever. You know, some people start in the summer. Some people start in the spring. Some people start in the fall. I don't think we have winter classes, at least not for my program. But yeah, so to be honest, I kind of just treat it as all like it's just continuous because it's not like the breaks are very long at all. Soon as one class ends, you might have like, depending on the time of the year, you might have like a week break, few weeks break, and then you start again. So but either way, it just keeps on coming. I will be so happy when I graduate because I am so sick of studying, like, but it is what it is. But we are on tarot time, so I'm relaxed, a little bit emotionally discombobulated and stressed, I think because of hormones. Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that, Sand. Definitely, hormones are the worst. It's always tough to try to figure out the best way to like balance everything and make sure that, you are comfortable, your body's comfortable. It's painful. Yeah, college is intense. I agree. Do you graduate in 2025? I believe I graduate in 2026. But I probably will take my last class in 2025, but I don't think they have a fall graduation. It's really, 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 really a pain. Yeah, just one full year. Home stretch, you're right. It is the home stretch. Hopefully everything works out because it's so expensive. But I'll be happy when I finish. Really happy. And anybody, let me know if you have a question or anything. If not, I'll be here. But yeah, school is stressful. So I can't wait till it's over, to the end of this year. And this year, like, we suspected was going to be a continuation of all the craziness that happened in 2024. So it's not slowing down. Doesn't look like it's slowing down. Looks like things are just keep going and piling up. Yes, hormones are not fun. I wish structures were more accommodating to us women in that regard. I'm sure college doesn't have any mercy on your hormones. You are so right. I definitely think and believe that, I guess it depends on what society you live in, but in America, obviously, there are not as many structures set in place to help women with their needs and things along the lines of that. And I feel like that is something that needs to change 100%. There's not as much studies done on women's bodies as well. So we need to like restructure a lot of things to make sure that everything's like accommodating for everyone, because it's just not fair that, we as women have to deal with so many different hormone shifts and we're just supposed to just walk around like nothing's happening. And it's just not okay at all. It's really not. So definitely, I 100% think there needs to be a change. But I do always tell people to advocate for yourself. If you don't have a doctor that is accommodating towards you and is not listening to you, or if you're not in the right environment that doesn't respect that, you may have some things going on in terms of like a work or something like that, then it's time to go. It's time to go in both situations. Because I think in 2025, we need to stop accepting the nonsense that is being offered for us. So I always encourage people to say what's on their mind and let people know. He says, yes, I agree. I'm glad you agree, Sam. All right, I get this. I guess maybe I just get this hair tie in because I keep pushing my hair back. There we go. just to get it. There, that's so much better. All right. So much better. Let me see this. Sorry. I don't know why I'm so sleepy. All right. I am very excited to see, I guess, what the nodal shifts will have to bring, especially being in Pisces and in Virgo. Those are such particular houses. We already know that there's going to be stuff going on in the work environments, in the healthcare environments, in places where, I guess any act of service. So it could be something like waitressing and being some sort of like customer service. There's going to be so many things going on probably in those areas this year, especially with K2 there, because K2 wants to pull away from all of that and it wants to focus on more so downtime, relaxation, thoughtfulness, introspection. So I can definitely see that. I feel like there might be more strikes this year or more people stepping away. What is typical of nodal shifts? Not upheavals, but just focus. I mean, nodal shifts have a lot of different vibes depending on their sign. So, a nodal shift is kind of just highlighting these are the areas that we'll be focusing on. Usually, Rahu is more like we want more of this. We want more of this going on. So it's the area where people are just like when it was in Aries, more people wanted more independence. They wanted more autonomy. They wanted more so like, hey, I want a circumstance that benefits me, right? Because it's very Aries-like energy. And then you had people with this K2 in Libra pulling away from anything that felt like, why am I being so accommodating to other people? Why is it always this sort of like give and take thing where it doesn't feel like I'm getting everything that I want? So we saw that in a lot of different areas where a lot of people were kind of pulling away or at least having a lot of criticisms towards the dating scene. Things along the lines of, well, I feel like the market people were still buying stuff, but I don't think they were buying as many things in terms of that because the prices have gone up a lot. So it really is like pulling away from like, hey, this costs a lot of money. We're down some. People are spending less money on this thing. So K2 wants to pull away from anything that's going to be Libra-like, and Rahu wants to go towards anything that is Aries-like. So now Rahu wants to go towards things that are more Pisces-like, which is obviously things having to do with charity, things having to do with, it does have to do with how you're spending your money because the 12th house is kind of like losses of money or losses of income in a way. So it's how you spend your money. Has to do with anything doing with diseases and hospitalization stays, addictions. Pisces can have to do with a lot of self-reflection, a lot of internal work, a lot of dark night of the souls, anything to do with having a rise in self-awareness, anything to do with being more self-reflective is a major theme for Pisces, but also stepping into your own power and valuing yourself and focusing on your higher vision of what you have for yourself in life is something that's very Pisces. But obviously I'm going to the more spiritual aspect. But if we're talking about like everyday things, then it's more so like foreign lands, foreign countries, anything to do with escapism. So movies, any sort of entertainment can be seen as Pisces. A lot of things that are like enjoyable, pleasurable, but like in the privacy of your own kind of like space and home can be very Pisces. Witchcraft, like a lot of things. So people will kind of be more interested in these areas of life. And then also it represents sort of like this secretness to it, because it's the house of hidden enemies, or things along the lines of that. It doesn't even have to just be hidden enemies, just things that are hidden in general. So definitely people will feel like they aren't going to feel like sharing everything that they have as much, or sharing everything that they're doing. So maybe it's like pulling a little bit away from social media, but we'll see. We'll see with that. The nodal shifts are a lot. I'm blabbing on. I'm going on a little tangent with everything, but yeah, it's different for everyone in their own personal chart, but the overall trend, if I just go by logic and my own prediction, I think there's going to be some changes when it comes to the work environment, because right now things are so contentious, at least in America. This is just my own guess. So I don't this is not like me studying things. So honestly, I really do feel like the job market is going to have to undergo some shifts. More than likely, people are going to have a bigger divide when it comes to sort of like highly skilled jobs and maybe more blue collar jobs. And then I feel like these middle lane jobs that are more so sort of skilled, or things like that, like you have to have some sort of knowledge or something, like a trade or something. I think these kind of jobs are disappearing a little bit more. And then we're also, because of the rise in I think people are going to go towards trying to automate jobs as much as possible. However, I don't think companies are going to be able to be as strict when it comes to, filtering people or getting people out of the way. They're more than likely going to have to, and by getting people out the way, I mean like trying to say, oh, we don't want this resume. We don't want like that way. You know how companies are being like very picky now? I think they're going to have to choose like the best of what they got and have to really invest in those people, because when K2 is in Libra, it's almost like people are quitting their jobs. People are pulling away from work. And so there's going to be less people who are going to be willing to do those jobs. And it could be pulling away from jobs because of things being automated, but it could also be pulling away from jobs because they don't want to do it. So that is something that I think is going to happen, because things cannot continue the way that they are. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm rambling about stuff not related, but I just think that that's quite possible. That's going to happen. So definitely there's going to be a rise in having to have to be more specialized, but at the same time, the more specialized you are, all of these change sound so dramatic and foundational. I guess because the world is not set up for Pisces energy. Yeah, I really think so too. Especially Pisces is like things beyond this world. So I really feel like this is going to be something that feels a little bit out there energy. 100%. It sounds ultimately very powerful, honestly. Whatever good and bad comes from it. Yes, I think so too. I think ultimately it'll probably lead everyone, at least on a global spiritual way, towards the right path, right? Towards the place where we need to rise to or ascend to spiritually. But that's just my own belief, but I really feel like there's going to be a change in the way that people think about how they are spending their time and their life, because Virgo also represents the things you do on the day to day. So I really do feel like that's going to be something that's a lot different, because if you have like K2 and Virgo, the things you do on the day to day are going to be things that are more K2 likes, And then Aquarius will tap in the vision, and then Capricorn put in the work. It's all a process. Yes, I think so. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Yes, I have North Node in Virgo. Wow. So this is like the opposite of a nodal return for you. I'm trying to think of the opposite. That's also like some sort of major thing. That can really like shift your perspective when you have like those, what is it, half returns? I forgot what people call them. because it's not a nodal return, it's just it's a half return because K2 is meeting Rahu and Rahu's meeting K2. Those are some dramatic events. Like I remember last time that happened for me, I got like a job that I always wanted, not without a price, but it was a job that I always wanted. So it was good and bad. It was interesting. So I don't know. I should look into it. Yeah, definitely look into it. I'm sure people have talked about things that's happened to them during their half nodal return, but it is tend to be a little dramatic. At least I thought so. It definitely calls you to like assess at your own behavior, because obviously K2 and Rahu want you to be on the path that you're set to do out in this life. So it's almost like checking in at a milestone. Like they're like, let's see what you've been doing so far, right? And if things aren't where I guess maybe the planets or something feel are best for you to, the best path for you to be on, then it's almost like, let's shift. We're going to shift this. It's almost your Saturn return. Saturn return is very controversial for some reason on the internet. I don't know why. I'm guessing because so many people have been on a path in which hasn't been the best for them. And so when their Saturn return happens, they get shocked or they get shook up, and things just kind of like, they could take a turn for the worse. And then sometimes it's not even that, but sometimes things just happen around this time that can be hard to deal with, because I've definitely seen people lose loved ones during Saturn return. And obviously that's not their fault. There's nothing they can do about that. But they've had to deal with those hardships. Not to say that you will ever lose anyone in that time. That doesn't always happen. I've seen people who had Saturn returns, and depending on what house it was, like they've had children. I've seen other people like go through like jobs, and they've had to like change their jobs and shift in that direction to a whole new different industry where they make more money. There's a lot of things that can happen with Saturn returns. It's not always gloom and doom though. Sometimes it's just a change for the positive. I know my Saturn return wasn't bad at all. Actually, it was really good. Actually, I enjoyed my Saturn return. I actually would love it to come by again, because I saved a lot of money during my Saturn return, and it was great. I did a lot of fun things during my Saturn return. So I guess it just depends for everyone, right? It depends. I feel my Saturn return is going to be related to successfully overcoming things related to those themes, because I'm already in the thick of dealing with the difficult things at the moment. You're probably right. I mean, you're absolutely probably right. It more than likely will be a continuation, but then it's going to, you know how Saturn is, it's going to apply more pressure, right? It's going to say, I want you to deal with this now. Like, I think that's 100% true. It's usually the things that you're already dealing with in your life that Saturn wants you to sort of take a look at, right? It's usually not something new. I'll say that. That if it was something new, that might be more Rahu Ketu sometimes, but they usually deal with the old stuff too. Jupiter, however, will bring you something new. I've seen that a lot, but Saturn's like same old. We've been talking about this for years. Let's do something about this. I'm trying to find my water. Hold on 1 second. Let me get some water. All right. I needed some water. All right. Let me continue to shuffle this away. He said, I'm gonna get a question today. I just need to think of it. Take your time, Sam. You know, I want to be on for at least, I'll say 40 minutes. I'll say, because there is work to be done. I've been neglected. I actually do have to finish my schoolwork. That's me. If I don't put timers on things, I'll just go off into my own little world and do whatever I want to do. Let me do this. Make sure we're shuffling. And anyone else who wants a question, feel free to ask. I will be here. I think I drank all my water. All right. So I'm being either decisive, once again, either love or relocation, because I don't want to live in my current country anymore. I say go with what is the most prevalent on your mind. Like, which do you think about the most on a daily basis? Or which situation feels like more dire? Not maybe dire is such a dramatic word, but feels like I want to deal with this now. Do you accept Super Chat for questions? Yes, I do accept Super Chat, Brian. But for anybody else, like if you can't do PayPal or Cash App, yes, feel free to send the Super Chat. Because I know Cash App's not available to everyone, and I think PayPal has certain restrictions with certain countries. Let me see. I hope everyone's having a good weekend too. This January has been so cold, so cold. At least here, I'm in the obviously Northeast region, so we've gotten those snow days, which weren't bad because for me, I got to work from home. So it was like being remote again. So I was very excited for that opportunity. But I know shoveling the snow, driving in it. Okay. What's going to happen? Okay. Brian, I will say for yes or no questions, those are $5. Your question is more so a full sort of reading. So if you want the full reading for that, I guess it would be another $5. Well, not guess, I know it would be another $5. Because you're saying what's going to happen. So that would be $10. Unless you want to ask a yes or no question and do something different. A different question. Let me know. Say, I choose love. Nothing wrong with choosing love. You know, that is the norm. Everyone loves love. Everyone needs love. You know, we all deserve to have love in our lives. Oh, thank you, Brian. Let me get to your question. All right. All right. What's going to happen between me and Jeff after my meeting with him a couple of days ago? Me and him are both musicians. What's going to happen between me and Jeff after my meeting with him? Brian and Jeff. What's going to happen with Brian and Jeff? We have the Fool. And we have the Four of Cups. And we have the Five of Wands reversed. Okay. So right away, we're off to a new start, which the Fool obviously represents. So between you and Jeff, I don't know if you guys had some sort of disagreement or contention or some point in which felt like there might have been some conflict involved, only because I say that because we have the Five of Wands, and sometimes I get the Four of Cups to represent some sort of dissatisfaction. So to me, it feels like there isn't going to be much occurring. The Four of Cups is all about sitting in one place, reflecting, taking your time, not extending energy, not going in any sort of particular direction. So to me, it's a very much keep the peace card. And the Five of Wands reverse is all about, putting down, your battle swords and not having to deal with anything, or not wanting to exert energy towards having to compete for something, argue about something, pour energy into something, do any task or anything along anything on the lines of that. So in terms of things happening, it's definitely an energy type of coming down. Like you're just like, if you were up here, it's kind of going like this, coming downhill. Kind of reminds me of the Fool off the cliff here. So it looks to me as if things are winding down. Hey, Kate, and that we are getting to a point where it looks like the communication between you guys is going to be a lot more calm if it hasn't been. And it's going to be a lot more, let's keep the peace type of energy. This is not to say that it doesn't feel like this energy is like welcoming, because these cards here, sometimes I can get these two to be like passive aggressive, or just feeling like a little bit sour or resentful towards someone, but it may not be that strong of a feeling. Sometimes it's just like, let's just let this go. So I don't feel like things are moving in some sort of high direction or ramping up, or going into a place in which they're going somewhere. But maybe, yeah, I just don't see that. I can't even say I see that. That's just not true. I don't see it going any place particularly at all. And if this is like a job, like you said, you're both musicians, then this would represent being in a place where it feels like you two in particular, I don't know, aren't on the same vibe necessarily. But we have the Chariot here. So you'll manage to get on the same page about something. Did you guys have like some discussion or argument where you're trying to figure something out or something like that? Because when we get the Chariot and we have this Five of Wands, or a disagreement in perspectives, it kind of makes me feel like it's you're putting down your swords and you're deciding to come together and saying, okay, we'll just work together in this sort of way, or we'll manage to get through this problem, or we'll manage to get over this speed bump, or things along the lines of that. So let me know, Brian, but because it sounds like you guys are working fine together, or you're just I wouldn't say enjoying, but you're able to get along well. Things seem to be fine. There's not a lot of, okay, I don't know what's going on my computer. There's not a lot of arguing. There's not a lot of meanness. There's not a lot of confusion. There's nothing here that implies that things are going to be tough in terms of communication with you two. It's just more so aligning and getting on the same page is what the cards are saying, if there was something going on. But let me know if it resonates. Kate A. He said, we talked an hour a couple of days ago. It went well. Okay, so it's probably going to stay the same. I guess that's why we had that de-escalation going on with the cards. So I think it will continue to go well, and you two will manage to keep the peace and get along. What's the difference? What will the difference be after my Saturn return ends? What will the difference be after my Saturn return ends? Kate wants to know what the difference is after my Saturn return ends. You're welcome, Brian. And I do hope that things continue to go well. Oh, wait, I think San asked the question. Okay, since I'm already shuffling for Kate, I'll come back to you, San, because I didn't see your question there. I'll get to that. I thought you were still figuring out the question, but I'll get to it. And Brian, let me know how things go. Feel free to come back and give us the update, because the cards show that things will continue to go well and that you two will get along. All right. We have the Page of Swords. We have the Three of Cups. We have the Nine of Swords, but he's battling the demons here. And we have Death card. I want to pull one more. And the Three of Swords. And obviously the swords have fallen. So let's get in here with the Page of Swords and the Three of Cups. Nine of Swords. And making sure everything's in order. So to me, man, you have got a lot of worries and a lot of concerns going on in your head. Possibly unnecessary worries, unnecessary things that you think about. Things that just don't really matter, that keep your mind active, that keep you wondering, that make you feel like sometimes like you're going crazy with this Nine of Swords here. But really, what's going to happen after, your Saturn return is a lot of that is going to end. The Three of Swords definitely can represent feeling some disappointment and feeling like things are just a bit hard right now or hard to deal with. So for me, it feels like a reduction in anxieties. It goes from thoughts being overwhelmed with sort of negative situations, behavior, circumstances that happen, to just feeling like, okay, it's time for me to let those things go, with the Death card here and the Three of Swords, and focus on my healing journey, or my journey of just finding peace and being able to elevate my way of thinking so that I'm more positive, so that I'm focusing on the good things, so that I'm not holding on to stressful thoughts, things that upset me, bad memories, people who aren't right for me, etc., things like that. And this is even after, because your Saturn return, because your Saturn return is kind of telling me before, you may have a lot of things that are keeping you up at night, a lot of ways of thinking that may not be the most productive, things along the lines of, oh, that's not possible for me, or oh, I sounded so awkward there. Why did I say that thing? Why did that person talk to me that way? What did they really mean by that? Like the Nine of Swords is such overwhelming sort of thinking that can be so negative. But when Saturn return comes through, that changes. You transform and you start to get to a place where you're like, okay, maybe things weren't that bad. Or maybe I should do something and think about things in a more positive way or setting. And so you start to see things from a different perspective, and you start to listen and see how other people handle stressful situations, and you say, okay, yeah, things aren't as bad as I'm making it seem, and I can handle things a little better. Don't get me wrong, I'm still upset over XYZ, but I feel like I can move forward and I have the opportunity to live a more peaceful journey. Now, let me come back to these two cards because these were first. So the thing about these two cards is it represents, the differences after your Saturn return is that you'll be having more fun. And you're having more fun because you're letting go of all of these anxious, stressful thoughts, situations, ways of thinking, and you are just enjoying your life. And when I see we have 2 3s here, and threes obviously representing being sociable, being active, being creative. So you're feeling like you're able to express your creative side. You're able to hang out with more people, meet more people, socialize. Maybe you have some social anxiety, like, oh my gosh, I wonder what that person thinks of me. Did I sound dumb? Da, 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 da. Like, right. All of that social anxiety stuff. Was I being awkward? Was I being strange? Like these are thoughts that a lot of people have, but some people have them on such a prevalent level that it can disrupt their happiness and disrupt their peace. Now that after the Saturn return, you'll be able to enjoy yourself more. You'll be able to relax more. You won't be so caught up in saying things wrong, doing things wrong, or worried what somebody else will say, or who's going to be there, and what do I need to dress, and how do I need to look, and things along the lines of that. The interactions that you have with people will be a lot more positive, and honestly, you're just going to have a way better time in life. Like you're going to find yourself doing more things that you enjoy. You're going to find yourself taking on new hobbies or interests or reading new books, whatever the case may be, but being introduced to new ideas, new people, even possibly going exploring a few different local spots on the way or something like that, trying new things. But your Saturn return is going to make you want to enjoy your life more. So you really have some powerful things happening here for you, but this mental load lightens. That's the main message. Your mental load is lightening. You're meeting some really great people and you're having a fun time. And you are meeting some more like-minded people is the thing. People that you actually share things in common with, that you can talk about. I don't know, whatever you enjoy talking about. Some people love talking about certain books that they read. Some people like talking about celebrity gossip. Some people like talking about astronomy. I like talking about astrology. But whatever the case may be, you're meeting more like-minded people and you're opening yourself up to those possibilities. So that is what I see for you, Kay. Like it's really like great because it's making you have more fun in your life. So as a Capricorn, I've been allergic to fun until this point. Well, it's time to, be unallergic. Get an EpiPen, take a shot. You're going to have some fun. All right, back to you, Sand. So here we are. What are you what are you's newly realized feelings for me and outlook on our dynamic? These cards are wanting to come out, but I want to shuffle you first. Okay. What are you's newly realized feelings for me and outlook on our dynamic? What actions is he likely to take as a result of them? Okay. Okay. Use newly realized feelings for me. Okay, let's get into this. Newly realized feelings. All right. We have the Emperor, very serious. The Two of Wands. I see them working together on this card. And the Three of Swords. Okay. Their newly realized feelings. It's interesting because to me, is that glare from the camera? There we go. It shows sort of like this dynamic where they're deeply reflecting on the relationship and how you two interact with each other. From what I know, it sounds like a lot. What I know about Tara. Yeah, it is kind of a lot. Like the Emperor definitely takes you seriously. So he's obviously seriously contemplating things. Both of these cards kind of deal with examination and really looking at things. So it's almost like part of him feels a bit like, I always get the Two of Wands to represent almost 1 foot out the door, 1 foot in and 1 foot out the door. And the Three of Swords obviously represents hurt. It doesn't necessarily mean like I'm leaving and I'm getting away, but it represents being hurt. So for them, it feels like their newly realized feelings is more so this person is kind of hurt my feelings. I'm wondering if I should stay in this dynamic or if I should move to a different dynamic. This is for them feeling like, I think part of them wants to talk things out and they want to express their feelings. You know, they want to get rid of the hurt. They want clarity. They want understanding. But then another part of them is like, I want to run away a bit or I want to move in a different direction is what I'm seeing here. I want to pull another card. I have no clue what you did, to be completely honest. We have the Six of Cups. It honestly could be his own insecurities because sometimes I get the Three of Swords to represent somebody being worried about somebody leaving them, or somebody being worried about somebody finding someone better than them, or somebody being worried that somebody will reject them. So it might be sort of like a defense mechanism for them. Like, oh, let me reject them before they reject me and realize, I'm not worth the time and effort. But anyway, their outlook is generally very good for your relationship, I think, or dynamic or interest with each other, because on these two cards, we have these two kids kind of running off together back home. So to that, for me, I don't think they're going anywhere, but it really feels like, I don't know what's going on with them. Let me clarify this Three of Swords, and it's clarified by the Three of Cups. Okay. Is there somebody else that they are interested in? And maybe it's not somebody else. Is there something else that they're interested in? Something that occupies their time a lot? It's either somebody or something else. But he said, yes, he's seeing someone. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Okay, so now it's starting to click as to why this person feels so split and indecisive. Unofficially, but invested. Okay, that makes sense. So that's why they're being so kind of like stressed out right now. That's okay. So now we're clicking. So he obviously doesn't want to hurt either one of you, but he also doesn't want to be in a position where he could potentially let go of some sort of relationship he really cares about. The outlook is obviously, like you said, he's probably expressed those feelings for you of care or interest. There's things along the lines of that. I don't really see him going away. But then also I don't really know if he's going to pull the trigger and move forward, with you or this other person. He might be leaving that decision to you or this other person, to be completely honest. But let's pull this card. I want to see something. Let's see the results. The Three of Wands. Well, so many threes. Wow. And the Star. Okay. So to me, I need to clarify that. Eight of Wands. Okay. So it is kind of like travel or something. All right. So I really feel like the result of the actions represents sort of like moving in a different, he could literally move. This person might literally move. They are definitely going to think about how they can create some distance. I don't know if it's between you or or this other person, or if they're just like, I want to hightail it out of here, because this Three of Wands energy is obviously about like, hey, I put myself out there. I said what I needed to say. Now I'm just waiting for something to happen. And obviously the the star represents distance. And the Eight of Wands represents like, that traveling communication and things along the lines of that. So the results to me are almost like they're waiting on something before they can make their next move, waiting on possibly something else to change, some sort of social interaction, some sort of dynamic. It definitely represents patience. They're waiting for sort of message. Maybe they're waiting on you to reach out to them before they could do something or say something, or possibly even, wait for this other person to say something. But if that's not the case and they're not waiting on any messages from either of you, then I don't know. This person seems like they want to literally run away or something like that. Four of Swords. They're just thinking about it. Okay, so they're just thinking about it. So honestly, they're just gonna wait. They're gonna wait to see what happens. They're gonna wait to see if where's this going. They're gonna wait for you to initiate something and apply pressure or something like that. Because with the star here and the Three of Wands, those are kind of very more calming, more non-active type of energy. Though we do have the Eight of Wands on the end, so maybe at some point, if you wait long enough, they might escalate the situation and say, hey, you know what? Let's get out of this three triangle type of thing going on here, and let's move in a different direction. But honestly, I think he's waiting for somebody else to make the move. Yep, I just clarified with the World card here. They're waiting for somebody, you to act, things to act, circumstances to change. They don't want to do anything. They want somebody else to end things. They want somebody else to be the person who pulls the trigger. They want someone else to communicate and push things along in this situation. They don't want to be the one to do it. They might do it if they ultimately have to, but it just doesn't feel like they want to do it. I told him I feel, and we agreed to just be friends. So he said he didn't know how he felt at all. That's when he told me about the other person. I totally felt otherwise, and the cards confirmed. Yeah, I think he does feel something. Otherwise, his mind wouldn't be so complicated. He's alluring me. Oh, so y'all both were like in the same way, kind of going back and forth. Okay, now it's making sense. This person, I don't see them being the initiator of trying to push things along or try to get out of the situation or be like, they're not going to be the one to push any buttons. But I will say with the Eight of Wands there, obviously they may flirt at some point, because the Eight of Wands is a very flirtatious type of card. So if they reach out and they flirt with you in some sort of way, I wouldn't be surprised at all, because that's there. But anything else, they're going to sort of wait for you to take initiative, or maybe even wait for the person that they're with to find out that they're with someone and things along the lines of that. They themselves will feel like, okay, I've said what I had to say, but like if you reach out to them again, they will converse with you. They will talk to you. They may flirt with you. This is all very possible. This is strongly possible, strongly probable, but it's really a waiting thing for them. Man, I know that's a complicated situation to be in. Love triangles happen. People have sorts of feelings. I told him I spend the holidays alone. He didn't reply for over a week, which is not a big deal to me. I'm an adult. However, he wants to talk to me every day, and he does. So it's unusual. Okay. However, he wants to talk to me every day. Yeah, I think that is unusual. I guess it's sort of like his, Libra side saying he doesn't know what he wants. You know, he obviously, is interested, but I think that he's probably thinking about things. But from the cards, it's kind of interesting because the cards kind of show that he will reply at some point. Because the way his thinking is, it's almost like he doesn't want to be responsible for like his own actions in a way. And he doesn't want to completely cut things and end things loose. Otherwise, we would have gotten different cards. So for him to take over a week, he's in that Libra withdrawal mode. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. His mind is occupied. He isn't sure what to say or how to respond. And he is trying to figure things out. So now he's taking that time to switch things up now. His behavior is changing. But the thing is about the dynamic, it's like, I think he obviously wants to continue to have you in his life with the Six of Cups there. But if you guys were just kind of friends before, maybe he would like that to stay where it is for the moment. But it's kind of interesting because the cards kind of imply that he does show some interest. So I don't know. But maybe because he's with someone, he's like, it's probably not a good idea. That's probably what's going on with him. He's probably feeling conflicted. Obviously, I'm not him, so I don't know. And the cards kind of give you an idea. But these situations are always complicated. Life is very tough, especially in the area of love, romance. There's so much involved. Yeah. I know that's hard, Sam. I really hope the situation works out. But I think I may end it. It is I've been on 59 minutes, it says. Yeah, that Libra energy is tough. They want to go back and forth. They want to think things through. I mean, you've got Moon in Libra. They aren't sure. It's you never know. Like you really, really, really never know. It changes. It changes. It changes. It changes. If one thing I've learned about Libra energy, it changes. All right. It's frustrating for sure. I don't know what to do about the whole thing. There's really nothing you can do because you kind of already put yourself out there. So it's really up to him. I know he probably wants you to make a move or do something different, but really this is supposed to be his sort of place to act. If, I can't tell you what to do, but if he's, taking this long, maybe start to see other people, explore, put yourself out there so that he's not on your mind. Yeah, I agree. He needs to be the one to do something. Yeah. All right, San, I'm going to wish you luck because that's a lot. And then I'm going to end the live. Thank you all for attending. Thank you, San. And I really hope that situation works out. And I will see you all next week. I'm trying to think if there's a specific day, if I'm doing something the following Friday. I'll probably be on Saturday. I think Saturday's good. Maybe I'll do Saturday night again. Because it was fun. It was fun seeing you all. I hope to see you again Saturday night. Thank you all for your support. It means a lot. And I'm just so happy I get to read for you. So bye.